Welcome to LinesToGo installation videos. Today we will be replacing brake lines on a 2011 Buick Lucerne using LinesToGo part number BLB-107-SS. While this particular installation is being performed on a 2011 Buick Lucerne, this set of lines will also fit the following year, make, and models as shown on your screen now. LinesToGo lines are made using original equipment end forms and fittings that are CNC bent for an easy and precise installation. We have also upgraded to stainless steel braided Teflon hoses for rust protection and to prevent surface fouling. These have an unlimited shelf life and anti-static PTFE liner. This set of LinesToGo lines are made using 304L stainless steel for rust resistance that exceeds OEM standards. Tech tip: disconnect the battery before working on a vehicle to reduce the risk of shorting out the battery on tools or lines. LinesToGo lines are made with a sectional design for easier installation. We also use color-coded unions on our sectioned lines. Just match the colors at the connections. Tools required: 19mm socket and ratchet, 10mm, 12mm, 13mm, and 14mm wrenches, cutting pliers, flat blade screwdriver, T25 socket or screwdriver, drain pan, jack and jack stands. The level of difficulty for this installation is considered to be easy. To disconnect the battery, lift up on the front of the rear lower seat cushion to remove it. Use a 10mm wrench to loosen the negative battery terminal and disconnect it from the battery. Raise and support the vehicle. Use a 19mm socket to remove all four wheels from the vehicle. At the front of both front wheel wells, remove the two plastic push clips that secure the front lower cover. Remove the plastic push clips at the front bumper that secure the front lower cover. Remove the 5 remaining clips from the front lower cover and remove it from the vehicle. Remove the engine oil fill tube by turning it counterclockwise to remove the plastic engine cover. Replace the fill tube so no debris falls in. Use a flat blade screwdriver to loosen the clamp that secures the intake air tube to the throttle body. Disconnect the PCV connection from the intake air tube by pushing the plastic clip to the side. Disconnect the mass airflow electrical connector. Use a T25 socket or screwdriver to remove the 2 screws that secure the engine air filter lid. Remove the intake air tube and air filter lid from the vehicle. Remove the engine air filter. In front of the engine, use a 13mm wrench to remove the 6-threaded fittings from the ABS module. If these lines are seized to the fittings, you can cut the lines using a pair of cutting pliers and then remove the fittings using a wrench or a socket. At the master cylinder, use a 13mm wrench to remove the 2-threaded fittings. Use a flat blade screwdriver to open the clip located inside of the left front inner fender and remove the 2 lines. Remove the primary and secondary brake lines from the vehicle. Inside of the left front wheel well, use a 14mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting from the left front flex hose. Remove the line from the plastic clip and remove the line from the vehicle. At the front of the right front inner wheel well, cut the 3 brake lines using a pair of cutting pliers. Remove the 3 lines at the front of the vehicle from the plastic clips. Remove the 3 lines at the front of the front subframe. Inside of the right front wheel well, use a 14mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting from the right front flex hose and remove the line from the vehicle. Use a flat blade screwdriver to remove the 2 lines from the plastic clips at the passenger side of the front subframe. Remove the 2 lines from the plastic clips at the rear of the front subframe. Cut the 2 lines at the factory unions using a pair of cutting pliers. Remove the 2 lines located above the front subframe. Remove the 2 rear lines from the plastic clips underneath the vehicle. Use a pair of cutting pliers to cut the lines and remove the forward sections from the vehicle. Inside of the right rear wheel well, use a 14mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting from the flex hose. Remove the right rear line from any remaining plastic clips and remove the line from the vehicle. Cut the left rear line in front of the subframe. Remove the remaining section of the left rear brake line from the 2 plastic clips located in front of the rear subframe. Use a 14mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting from the left rear flex hose. Remove the final section of the left rear brake line from the vehicle. To begin the installation of your new stainless steel LinesToGo brake lines, start by installing the front section of the left rear brake line labeled 06A into position. Start the top threaded fitting by hand into the driver's side rearmost central port in the ABS module. Install the next section of the right rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 06B into position above the front subframe. Connect the 2 sections of line by hand using the supplied union, noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Next, install the front section of the left rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 05A into position. Insert the top threaded fitting by hand into the driver's side front central port in the ABS module. Install the next section of the left rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 05B into position above the front subframe. Connect the 2 sections of line by hand using the supplied union, noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Secure the 2 rear lines into the plastic clips on the passenger side of the subframe. Next, install the first section of the right front LinesToGo brake line labeled 04A into position. Insert the top threaded fitting into the driver's side front port in the ABS module by hand. Secure the 3 lines at the front of the subframe into the plastic clips. Next, install the final section of the right front LinesToGo brake line labeled 04B into position. Start the threaded fitting into the right front flex hose by hand. Connect the 2 sections of the right front brake line using the supplied union, noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Secure the right front brake line into the plastic clip. Tighten the fitting at the right front flex hose using a 10mm wrench. Next, install the left front LinesToGo brake line labeled 03 into position and start the threaded fitting into the left front flex hose by hand. Start the other fitting into the driver's side rearmost port in the ABS module. Tighten the 4 fittings in the ABS module using a 10mm and a 14mm wrench. Tighten the fitting in the left front flex hose using a 10mm wrench. Secure the brake line into the plastic clip. Next, at the rear of the vehicle, install the rear section of the left rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 05E into position, routing it over the exhaust. Secure the line into the 2 plastic clips located in front of the rear subframe. Start the rear threaded fitting into the left rear flex hose by hand. Tighten the fitting using a 10mm wrench. Install the next section of the left rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 05D into position, securing it into the plastic clips. Connect the 2 lines using the supplied union noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Next, install the rear section of the right rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 06D into position, routing it over the rear subframe and secure it into the plastic clips. Start the rear threaded fitting into the right rear flex hose by hand. Tighten the fitting using a 10mm wrench. Install the next section of the right rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 06C into position and secure it into the plastic clips. Connect the line to the line labeled 06D using the supplied union noting the color-coded connection. Next, install the final section of the left rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 05C into position and secure it into the plastic clips. Connect the line to the line labeled 05D using the supplied union noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Connect the lines behind the front subframe using the supplied unions noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Tighten all of the unions using a 12mm and a 13mm wrench. Next, at the front of the vehicle, install the primary LinesToGo brake line labeled 01 into position and start the top threaded fitting into the rear port in the master cylinder. Start the bottom fitting into the passenger side forward port in the ABS module. Next, install the secondary LinesToGo brake line labeled 02 into position and start the top threaded fitting into the front port in the master cylinder by hand. Start the bottom fitting into the passenger side rear port in the ABS module by hand and tighten the 2 remaining fittings in the ABS module using a 14mm wrench. Tighten the 2 fittings in the master cylinder using a 14mm wrench. Use a 10mm wrench to bleed all 4 wheels, making sure to keep the master cylinder reservoir topped up with fluid. Next, replace the plastic cover and secure it using the plastic clips removed earlier. Replace all 4 wheels and torque to your manufacturer's recommended specification using a 19mm socket. Replace the engine air filter. Install the intake air tube and air filter lid back into position. Secure the air filter lid using a T25 socket or screwdriver. Replace the mass airflow electrical connector. Tighten the clamp that secures the intake tube to the throttle body using a flat blade screwdriver. Connect the PCV tube to the intake air tube. Replace the plastic engine cover, securing it with the engine oil fill tube. Reconnect the negative battery terminal and secure it using a 10mm wrench. Replace the lower seat cover, making sure the seatbelt buckles are positioned correctly. With the cushion pushed back fully, the clips at the front of the cushion will be lined up and you can press firmly to snap them into place. This concludes the installation of stainless steel brake lines on a 2011 Buick Lucerne using LinesToGo part number BLB-107-SS. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or would like to purchase the lines you saw today, please call us at 1-855-781-5992, email us at info@linestogo.com, or check out our website link below. Don't forget to take advantage of our free next day shipping. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below, and we will see you in our next video.